and John, patriot.
Hi, we're back.
That's right. We all back, Yuki. And you know what else is back from the dead? Zombies. Now, this was also a suggestion from you.
Yes.
And I'm interested because normally you don't really, I would say, enjoy this type of stuff. Do you? Do you enjoy zombies movies and stuff like that?
Well, yes and no, because that there's I think since The Walking Dead, everybody start making zombie movie, and then not all of them are good. And then of course George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the original one, 1967 or something.
Maybe 68. I don't know. Maybe they shot it. Let's look that up. But yeah, so did you see that when it first came out?
Yeah, and the black and the white, and that was, uh, I mean, it wasn't good movie, but it was interesting movie. Like who'd think about, you know, dead guys walking? I mean, George A. Romero is a father of the zombie movie. Yeah.
Yeah, 1968 it says here, and Romero and his people they used to make industrial films out in Pittsburgh, and they just realized that they had all this equipment, and they would take a stab at doing an independent film and trying to get it into drive-ins and stuff like that, and it's like the greatest independent film of all time in many ways because it was so successful. It spawned so many imitators. It birthed the idea of the modern zombie. I mean, it's so hard to invent a new form of monster that people all, you got vampires, you got werewolves, but before George Romero, zombies were not the zombies that George Romero presented.
Oh, so basically he created the zombies then.
He created modern zombies. So before Romero, zombies were kind of the voodoo type of thing where somebody would control a dead thing or a living person. So you had like the zombie master, like the puppet master, and then those zombies would do the bidding of that person who controlled them.
Well, so the mommy was kind of zombie then, sort of. Or Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, not exactly, because Frankenstein was in controlled. Frankenstein was more like a ghoul or a reanimated corpse that he wasn't as well. Actually, maybe he was kind of a zombie, but I feel like a zombie is more mindless. Although Romero started to introduce the idea that they could learn and stuff like that, maybe Frankenstein is a fucking zombie. Holy shit, Yuki. And maybe the mummy's a fucking zombie too.
Right? I mean, it's kind of the way walk, and then it's like a sort of mind thing going too, right? And then they don't run. Oh,
Frankenstein tries to run, but he's like, oh, and he
yeah. But it's similar, no? Because okay, some movie zombie runs, but the George A. Romero said, no, zombie can't run. Like World War Z.
oh yeah.
I mean, everybody's running. I mean, that's too much. I think zombie cannot run. I think I have to go with that.
I am of the mindset that yes, I agree with you. It's like, where did the zombies in World War Z get all their energy? I mean, unless they're possessed by the demons, or actually 28 Days Later did an interesting thing where they weren't zombies, they were infected by a virus that caused them to be enraged. It's called the rage virus. So that's cool because they're not zombies in the classical sense. And I think Romero, I maybe read somewhere that he said his logic behind making them slow was, if you have a corpse that's dead for a long time and it gets reanimated, it's not going to have the musculature. It's not going to have the energy. It's going to be a slow, lumbering thing that's crawling its way through this new existence.
It's a zombie. Like always, a plague has to be involved.
Well, there's so many zombie movies that there's so many different ways that they kind of do it. In fact, in Night of the Living Dead, the original, it's implied that it is caused by a probe that returns from Venus, and it's implied that it's a microorganism from outer space that caused these things to rise from the grave.
Mm.
You don't like that?
Some something cause them people make people zombie, right? I mean, people die, they just don't become zombie. So there has to be the reason.
Well, there's all different, like different movies have different reasons. In Return of the Living Dead, it's this government gas that's in a canister, and when they open that canister and it goes up into the sky, and then it rains, and the rain brings it down to a graveyard, they all get up and rise from the dead. Or what's another movie? Why did they rise from the dead in World War Z? Did they say some
That
government shit?
some kind of thing came out from the lab, I think.
Right. So from the lab, and there's all kinds of ways. I would consider this to be a zombie movie. In Night of the Creeps, you ever see that movie from the '80s?
No, I never seen that.
It's a good fun '80s movie starring Tom Atkins and Jason Lively from European Vacation. He played Rusty, and and it's these slugs, these like space slugs or something that come down, infect people or corpses, and turn them into zombies. So it's like a parasite. So a parasite could be the
Oh,
reason too. Yeah. I don't know if I would consider this movie a zombie movie. It's more of like a demonic possession movie. Did you ever see the movie Rec? REC. It's a Spanish movie.
no.
So in that movie, it's a really interesting found footage movie. They do have fast zombies, but the way it's explained, spoilers, everybody, the way it's explained at the end is that it was demonic possession that started to get these. So if you get bit by one of these beings, you are infected with evil.
Like a Resident Evil, those science chemical thing, right?
Yeah, that's some sort of a science thing, Umbrella Corporation.
Umbrella Corporation, yeah. The Raccoon City. Uh, So that kind of thing, or either region, Omega Man. How they became zombie? Also plague.
Well, so I don't remember the exact movie Omega Man. I've seen it, but also it's that movie is based on a novel by Richard Matheson called I Am Legend. And that movie, I mean, sorry, the novel was vampires. So they changed it.
Oh, no, it's not a zombie. It's about vampire.
Well, in Omega Man, I don't remember if it's vampires, but the Last Man on Earth with
Christopher
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price, yeah.
That's also based on the same novel. Again, I saw those movies when I was very young. I don't remember if they changed it from vampires to zombies. Maybe they did.
Because the Charlton Heston's Omega Man, it's more like a vampire. They show up at night and daytime they disappear. But Will Smith's I Am Legion,
Yeah.
became more zombie. It's not a vampire. Some chemical thing, and then they became zombie. So they kind of changes, and then I don't know, vampire and then zombie. They kind of mixed up, and towards the end, they didn't draw the line. I think.
Yeah, I wish that they would actually adapt that novel in a proper way and make it a very small thing, because that also I Am Legend is also influenced Night of the Living Dead. It's some similar aspects to it, and I wish that they would actually give it a proper thing. But a lot of people say that so many movies stole from I Am Legend, the original book, that if you put it out now, people would think it was unoriginal.
Now, Walking Dead. I can't remember. Is that how they became zombie?
I don't think that. So I stopped watching The Walking Dead at say season 9 or something like that, or maybe even
That's
season 8.
exactly when I stopped, because it's same thing, repeating, and then group goes wandering around, meet another group, and then try to, I mean, it's the same story all over again every season.
In my opinion, the Whisper Wars was the climax. Like that was stuff. That stuff I really enjoyed. All the Whisper Wars, all the actress Samantha Morton, I think her name is. She's great. That whole story should have been the climax to that story. Because once that was over, where else do you go? You got these people who are literally covering themselves with corpse blood and skin and shit and pretending to be zombies in order to infiltrate zombie hordes and manipulate them to kill you. You can't get another villain that's scarier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I stopped watching because the next season started and I was just like, oh, it's like they're starting from scratch again. And it's like half of these characters I don't even like. And I just can't invest this time.
Right. So literally, you kind of sick and tired of watching the show. It's just the same thing,
Yeah.
like.
So I don't know because maybe they in later seasons revealed how the aliens came. I'm aliens, fucking aliens. How the zombies came, but actually there were all kinds of theories like some were aliens, some were government, some were this, that, the other. I just never saw the actual answer to why The Walking Dead happened. And to be honest, you probably don't need it. It's better to not know because if a zombie apocalypse happened, Yuki, me and you would just be fighting for our lives, and we would not be discovering how that shit happened. We wouldn't be like the scientists who are like, oh, it was a fucking chemical reaction from Venus. No, no. We'd just be regular guys fighting our way through the apocalypse.
And, and, many stories the same. Those people go up to department store or shopping mall roof. That's always right.
Yeah. Yuki, what would you do? Like, honestly, I want to know your game plan. I want to know your game plan as far as where you would go, who you would try to surround yourself with, and what weapons you would use in a zombie apocalypse.
I think I might go closest to Walmart or Target. First of all, they have everything, right? Food, those everyday things. And then, but I don't think they sell the gun. So you have to get the weapon first, huh?
In certain states, they do. If you're in Texas, you can go to fucking Walmart and you got guns up the ass.
Well, Texas. Well, yeah, New York, they don't sell gun at the Walmart.
Not in Walmart, no.
Maybe they have a knife then. It's like a machete or shovel or stuff like that, but no gun.
Plenty of stabbing weapons in New York, but no guns. In Walmart. In Walmart.
It just reminds me of, speaking of a gun, reminds me of who started to kill the zombie, hit the head. I mean, shoot the head, cut the head. Who started that formula? Whose idea? George A. Romero? I mean,
I believe at the end of there's a news report in Night of the Living Dead where the sort of militia is coming through and they're interviewing this one guy and he says you gotta hit him in the head and then you cut him up, burn him, and that's the way you get rid of him. So they're basically saying destroy the brain. Like they don't say it outright, but they say aim for the head. You hit them in the head, they go down, and then they burn the corpses to make sure that they're disintegrated. So I think that idea comes from that movie. Now, other movies started to make it more explicit about, you gotta destroy the brain in order to, all that sort of stuff. And actually, the first movie that ever got into the idea that zombies like to eat brains was Return of the Living Dead from the 80s.
Oh.
Did you ever see that one?
No.
Okay, so again, Yuki, it's really hard to tell with your tastes, but I think you might like this movie because it's a little more clever than a lot of other movies. It has some things behind it that are more intellectual, but it's also a very funny movie and it also has great effects. Return of the Living Dead, it's written by Dan and directed by Dan O'Bannon, who wrote the original
Okay,
Alien
yeah, that one. Oh, yeah.
and Total Recall. And amongst other things, but so he made Return of the Living Dead. It's sort of, I won't say parody, but it's a satire and sort of it makes pokes fun at a little bit of other zombie movies and is very self-aware.
Who directed that movie?
Dan O'Bannon.
Oh, he wrote. He directed.
Yes. So you should check it out because like it's still elements of it you're gonna hate. Like it's still pretty goofy in parts, but it has some interesting takes and interesting effects and interesting jokes on the zombie thing, and then it also adds this huge piece of zombie lore, which is the reason why zombies want to eat brains is because they're in constant pain because they're dead and still decomposing even though they're alive, and when they eat the brains it makes them feel better.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a sick fucking idea.
but okay, I have to check that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Return to the Living Dead, Yuki. I think you'll like it. By the way, did you watch Black Christmas?
No, I'm
You
sorry.
son of a bitch, I told you.
Wait, I'm looking for which channel I can streaming it, and just maybe Tubi has a.
Prime had it for free. I think they made it
Oh, Prime has it?
yeah.
Okay, I watch it by next time then. Yeah.
Yeah, next Christmas you got to watch Black Christmas. But Return of the Living Dead, that'll be your assignment from this zombie thing because I'm interested in your opinion because I think you might like elements of this because it's a little more elevated than other zombie stuff.
All
But
right.
hey, look, you can't beat, in my opinion, you cannot beat Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero Dawn of the Dead in the mall.
Oh,
You don't like that one?
I know I saw it, but I can't remember so many zombie movies. And I know is that the one people goes in the shopping mall?
Yeah, from the 70s, not the remake. They had an early 2000s one, which is fine. It's fine, but it's more of an action movie. The Romero one has this like tone that really is oppressive. It makes me when I've seen that movie maybe 10 times in throughout my life. And the last time I watched it, I just realized I'm like, this movie makes me feel bad, but in a good way, like the way that a horror movie immediately should make you feel. It just sets the tone in such a dark, fucked up way, and then dark, fucked up things happen throughout. And it's just an oppressive tone. Even though there's comedy and stuff in it, it makes me feel poorly. Uh, then you got Day of the Dead, which is also a masterpiece, and that also has the same sort of feeling in it that it's like a doom and gloom. Is there hope? And even though there is some hope, there's not a lot of hope. It's a sliver. Also, George Romero.
Oh, Jojo! Wow, he made lots of zombie.
He
It's a
made
zombie.
six. So the first, no, seven. He made seven. So the first three, Night, Dawn, and Day of the Dead, those three are masterpieces. Like they are all, in my opinion, equal as far as quality. They're just fucking perfect movies. Then it was like flash forward maybe 20, 25 years, and he made Land of the Dead in the early 2000s. Not as good.
Not good, huh?
Maybe not good at all. I mean, I don't know. I when I saw it in the theater, I was so disappointed. And then when I rewatched it, I was watching it. I don't remember. It was some streaming service, and I was like, you know what? What if this fucking movie was in black and white? So I turned the color down on my TV to make it black and white, and it was better. I enjoyed it more for some reason being in black and white. So Land of the Dead in black and white is an improved experience.
Because the
Then
original Night of the Living Dead was black and white,
was black
right?
and white. So I think if he had sort of brought that, even though it was modern, like I don't understand modern audiences and modern companies that have completely disregarded black and white as a viable thing to shoot with. Because black and white photography is gorgeous. Black and white photography is a mood. Black and white photography is a feeling, and you can get a different kind of element in your movie as far as light and shadow than you can with color, because you have to decide, oh, what fucking color scarf is this motherfucker wearing? What does it represent? And I know that's your job in a way, right? The colors of sets and this and that.
I think a new generation, they don't like black and white, like automatically, oh, black and white.
But
Black and white.
why? But why? Why? Honestly, there's so many masterpieces in black and white that if I personally feel bad for people who turn their brain off to that kind of photography or cinematography.
That I don't know, but since new generation grew up with everything is color, so they just don't think about the black and white. It's automatically, oh, too old.
But I grew up with everything color, and I love black and white movies. So what the fuck?
Oh.
I think it's fucking. You know what I think? I think it's the fucking mandate of some asshole in Hollywood who was like, no black and white, and then forever. I mean, look, the White House, the Lighthouse was a
Right.
black and white film that I believe was improved because it was black and white and was more eerie and odd and fucked up than if it was in color.
Mm.
So I just don't get it. So sometimes I have been known to turn the color down on certain movies. Because I used to have a television in LA that was breaking, and every once in a while it would like flash black and white color, black and white color. It was an old tube TV. And one day I was watching Fright Night, and it went to black and white. I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty good." So I turned the fucking color off automatically. So A, I didn't have to have the flashing, and B, I could watch it in black and white. And it was fucking awesome. So then I started to watch other movies in black and white, like Lost Boys and shit like that.
Oh.
Sorry, that's my whole thing on black and
No,
white.
but I mean, same thing. I don't want to see black and white movie in color. You know, when sometimes TV showing Casablanca in color,
Ugh.
it's crazy.
Yeah, don't colorize the shit. You know, I heard
Right.
the last thing that one of the last things. This is maybe an urban legend, but Orson Welles said to somebody, "Tell Ted Turner to keep his crayons off my movies."
That's true.
Yeah. You can't colorize Citizen Kane. It defeats the whole fucking purpose.
I know. You know, original concept or, I mean, it's like you said, the lighting, shadow, those destroy those mood or, you know, environment look. They just, yeah.
Yeah. Any other zombie movies that you could think of, Yuki, that you like?
I kind of like the Z Nation. It's similar to The Walking Dead, but this guy has he carries what's called, he doesn't turn zombie. And then so everybody survivor try to bring him to the California from East Coast. So they're crossing the line. So in a way, it's a kind of Walking Dead, but
Okay, so they're trying to figure out why this guy doesn't turn into a zombie.
right.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I've seen it on like streaming services and stuff, but maybe I'll check it out if you recommend it.
Yeah, but soon again you get bored because
Right.
you know same thing because you try to go from east coast to California.
Yeah.
You do so much.
Yeah, it takes forever. It's just, they never end the
Yeah.
show. There's never an end.
Yeah, so same episode, you know, repeating, and then I think that show went to several seasons. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
what about pre Romero zombie movies? I there's a few Like obviously White Zombie with Bela Lugosi. You ever see that one?
No.
It's kind of boring. It's kind of
Oh,
boring, but it's one of those things where Bela Lugosi is like the puppet master, and he makes zombies out of I don't remember if it's voodoo or a potion or something, and then he controls the people who are blank, kind of. It's not somebody risen from the dead. It's mind control or something like that. Then Jacques Turner's and Val Lewton's I Walked with a Zombie.
oh, but I never seen that movie.
Oh,
No.
so this movie I think you'll really like, Yuki, because A, it's a very old classic in the horror genre. You know who Val Lewton is?
No.
So Val Lewton was a producer back in the day, maybe the 40s and 50s, and I think he worked for RKO Pictures, and he was given small budgets to make horror pictures. And he made movies like Cat People, The Leopard Man. Yeah. So he made some classics. And Jacques Turner, who went on to be a great director, obviously was still a great director. He started with Val Lewton and he made Cat People, I Walk with a Zombie, and one other. I don't remember.
The cat people, good. I saw cat people, but
Yeah, so right after Cat People, or maybe there's one in between, maybe The Leopard Man. I don't remember which one he actually directed, but Val Lewton, I have the box set. There's like 7 to 10 movies. I forgot how many, but they're fucking all amazing. Actually, Robert Wise directed Curse of the Cat People. He started with Val Lewton.
wow.
Yeah, so Val Lewton, I Walked with a Zombie. It's not the Romero zombie. It's closer to the voodoo or mind control zombie. But there is one scene in I Walk with a Zombie. I won't spoil anything, but it is one of the fucking creepiest goddamn scenes I've ever seen in any fucking movie ever. Ever.
Wow.
And me and Liz Shack went to see it at the Museum of the Moving Image. And I had seen it before and Liz hadn't. And there was that scene came and she was like, holy fucking shit. Honestly, that is like so intense. There's just like an intense, oh, you got to watch
Okay. Wow.
it. And then of course you're blowing my mind here about how maybe Frankenstein was a zombie, or maybe the Mummy, and maybe there's other zombies in early horror movies that we didn't consider. Maybe I'd have to do some more research, but
So speaking of Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks, I
yeah.
think he's doing Young Frankenstein the musical.
Oh, really? Didn't they try that already?
Yeah, no, they're rehearsing now. I think it's coming out in off Broadway.
Well, the producers was a big hit, so I'm sure this will be pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Did you like the producers, the Broadway?
yeah, I liked it. Yeah, that was funny, and then I liked more the movie.
Okay, so I was going to ask, that was my next question is, I know that you don't necessarily like Young Frankenstein, but would you give it a chance on Broadway?
Maybe off Broadway is better because so the off Broadway smaller theater may have a chance to hit. Then if you go bigger theater in the big Broadway show, more money, you may not get the money back. So I
Right.
think start with the smaller theater is a wise way to do it. I think.
Okay. All right, I trust you, Yuki. You're a Broadway expert, off-Broadway expert, so that's your realm of expertise. And if that's your suggestion from Mr. Mel Brooks, I accept it. Yuki, what? Maybe
Creature from Black Lagoon, the musical.
that would be cool. That would be cool. He's like, I'll breathe on the water, and I'm stalking this bitch, and yeah, I already wrote the song. Yeah,
You already wrote the song.
I can breathe on the water, and I'm stalking this bitch, and I got a green motherfucker, big old dick, and yeah, this is good. I already got it.
That would be cool. Then you have to think about how to show under the water scene without the water.
Oh, Oh yeah, Yuki. How would you do that, Yuki?
I would use wire, and then those maybe black background, and then those underwater decoration on stage.
And then maybe some of those, like, you know how you do those flags in front of the thing to do a TV on the light? You do that with the water so it's a little
Water,
wavy.
yeah.
That's cool. That could be really cool. Holy shit, Yuki.
Yeah.
I would like to see Yuki Nakamura's production of The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I want to hear, the song composed by
Yeah.
John Brennan.
Well,
Yeah.
you know how we get around this? We make a musical called The Creature from the Brown Lagoon.
Oh,
Yeah. Now you know where I'm going with this shit.
possibilities. Yeah.
So, anything else before because I have something special for you, Yuki. Anything else about zombies?
No, it's good. And then what it is?
Actually, I have two special things. Okay, here we go. I have one thing here, which is Rotten Tomatoes top 100 critic rated zombie movies. So I'm gonna read out the top. Let's say do the top 10. Okay, and then you tell me how many you've seen and if you like any of them, and if not, whatever. Okay, so and some of them we mentioned before, but the number one is really fucking surprising. Number one is a movie called One Cut of the Dead, and I believe this is a Japanese movie, Yuki.
Really? Never seen it. Never heard even.
It's from 2017, and I'm not joking. I also think you should watch this one because there's a twist to it that is it changes the whole movie in a really interesting way, and it almost breaks the mold as far as genre is concerned. Yes, Yuki, it's a great fucking movie. Then the number two at a 95% Rotten Tomato score is Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, I seen that.
Yeah. Next up is a great, great, great movie called Train to Busan, which is a 95%.
Yeah, that's a good one. But that zombie runs
Yeah.
even faster than train.
Yeah, those zombies are like, they're like fucking jumping off of cliffs and shit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an exciting, crazy movie. I liked it.
Yeah. Oh wait, not jumping off of cliffs. They're like, I remember the one part when they're in the train station, and then the zombies are so crazy to get at the people that they're pushing up against the glass, and the glass is breaking,
Right.
and then it breaks through.
And then Hollywood remade it. It's called Train to New York. It's coming out this year.
Oh no. Oh no. Leave it alone, Hollywood.
The same guy directed, same Korean guy directed.
Oh, really? Same director? Okay, I'll give it a chance then.
Yeah, maybe Hollywood hire him for the remake.
Okay, if that's the case, that's cool. I haven't seen the sequel, but if it's the
Sequel
same,
is not good. It's
oh,
called
really?
The Peninsula. Yeah.
Right, I saw it. I just haven't checked it out yet.
Nothing to do with the Train to Busan. No, nothing. Not
Oh,
related story-wise. So I don't know why it's called sequel. I don't know.
cash.
Yeah.
The next one is number 4, 94% Reanimator from
Oh,
1985.
yes, I saw that.
I like the part where the head tries to eat Barbara Crampton's pussy. All right, after that is Dawn of the Dead, which we spoke about, 1978.
Right.
That has a 91%.
Oh.
This is weird because this one has a 92%. And maybe this isn't going in percentage order. Shaun of the Dead, number 6.
Comedy one, right? I
Yeah.
never seen that.
That's also another very interesting one that sort of is more intellectual and good than most like shitty zombie movies that they shit out. It has something more to say.
Right. But I don't know, somehow I like serious one, The Shaun of the Dead is a Too
It
comical.
it gets pretty serious.
Really?
Yeah. Let's just say that there's a reason why it's considered in like the Romero universe. It gets very dark at points. It takes the zombies and the threat of zombies seriously.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie.
okay.
Number 7 is the one I recommended you, Yuki. 91%, The Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Oh, after that is a movie I've seen on Shudder, but I never watched it. 90%. It's a movie called Blood Quantum. Blood Quantum.
Never heard.
After that is number 9, 90%. A movie I mentioned, Rec, REC. It's a Spanish movie, a found footage Spanish movie from 2007.
Okay.
If you
Never
want to,
heard.
if you want to shit your pants, Yuki, do you want to shit your pants?
Well, that's scary.
So what you got to do is you got to get Rec somehow. You could either buy it or stream it or whatever. Turn all your lights out after sunset.
All right.
Sit alone and watch this movie.
Okay.
Your pants will be brown by the end of the half hour.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. Number 10 is a movie called Zombieland, 89%.
Zombie, is that the Zombieland? Is that the, what's his name?
Woody Harrelson.
Harrison?
Yeah.
I saw it, but I wasn't crazy about it. Again, I don't know, too comical.
There's comedy. I liked it though. I had a good time with it. I thought it was very funny and fun. And then I'm just going to read the 11th and 12th because we mentioned one of them, but one of them we need to mention because it's one of my favorite fucking movies ever. Number 12 is 28 Days Later at 87%. We mentioned that. That's the one with the rage virus. But number 11, 89%, Dead Alive by Peter Jackson.
Oh,
One of the bloodiest scenes in movie history.
really?
Dude, they use so much blood in this movie. It's like you could take all 100 zombie movies of all time and put all the blood together except for this one movie. I bet you Dead Alive used as much blood as all those movies combined. Especially one scene. I mean, there's just one scene that uses so much fucking blood. I can only imagine how sticky and disgusting that set was after they did this scene.
Okay, well, so that one, I have to see that one too then.
Yeah, that's another fun one. That's what is he's New Zealand, Peter Jackson, and this is when he made this movie in New Zealand, so they have the New Zealand accents. So it's not an American movie, and that makes it to me a lot more funny because they have those the accents and the strange off kilter humor that they wouldn't necessarily put in an American made zombie horror movie.
He made this before the Lord of the Ring, right? Of course.
Yes, yeah, way before. He made this before he ever made his American debut. So, yeah. All right, Yuki. So that's a bunch of zombie movies. Now I have a very special thing here. So, if you recall, one of our first episodes on the Patreon buffet and podcast buffet, I told you about how I had a dream journal. So I am on my second dream journal. This is my second one here. And I had a zombie dream recently.
Wow.
So I'm going to tell you what I wrote down about my zombie dream. Okay? I know this is boring to everybody, but it's zombies, Yuki, and I think you'll get a kick out of some of this. So it was a zombie apocalypse, and it started at some sort of a night shoot for Troma.
Uh-huh.
Hordes of zombies started coming, and I went to warn people at a house in the west end of Floral Park, which is where my parents had a house. They still have a house, which actually I'm in the house. I
No,
was
yeah,
forced to come here because of the fire.
yeah.
And the west end of Floral Park, it's right along the border of Belmont racetrack. So the whole west end of Floral Park is enclosed because it borders the Belmont racetrack. So I ran to the west end of Floral Park with Zach Amico, and zombies were flooding the streets behind us, and we were Zach Amico is the great Zach Amico from Troma, and he has his own podcast, the Zach Amico's Midnight Spook Show. He's a great comedian and a great friend. So we got to on bikes and we were riding on bikes. And on the way to this house, we saw a bunch of teenagers and we said, you got to be careful, right? And then we kept going and we got to the dead end, which is also kind of funny because dead end zombies are dead, the dead.
Right.
Um, and so we got to this house and I don't know why I was going there, but I got there to warn the people inside. And I got inside to warn them, and I immediately slipped on a dog bed and fell down in the hallway, and people started laughing. Of course, it's like the zombies are coming, woohoo! And I fall down. And then the TV was on, and there was a high school football game on the TV, and a bunch of zombies started killing everyone at the high school football game. And that's when people started to believe me that there was a zombie outbreak. And I convinced everybody to get guns, and we started to board up the house. And then my dad showed up, and he immediately turned into the crypt keeper from the TV show Tales from the Crypt. And he asked me to kill him because he turned into the crypt keeper and
Oh.
yeah, and so I said in order for him not to be a zombie, I stabbed him in the stomach with the barrel of a gun and
Mm.
he died. So then one zombie tried to get in the house because they found us and I shot at him and I missed. And then things started to die down and we were in the house, but all of a sudden that zombie that I missed that I almost killed drove down the street in a car and parked in front of our house and turned on music and blasted it so loud that it attracted other zombies to come. And that's when,
Zombie drove and then put the music on.
yeah, in order to, so it drove into the front of the house that we were all trying to hide out in, and it turned on music really loud so other zombies came. And then at the very end of the dream, we were deciding if we should stay in the house or try to escape through the back lot of the Belmont racetrack. And the people inside said we should not try to escape because the zombies are witches too.
Did you write that?
Did I write it? I dreamt it.
You,
That was my dream, Yuki.
that's really weird dream.
I know. I don't know. And so I woke up with all these crazy. I was like, "What the fuck was that dream?" And I immediately went, and that's why I love writing my dreams down. I don't always do it, but every like 2 weeks,
So you remember, then you wrote it down?
I keep this journal either close to me by my bed or sometimes in the basement where I set up my workstation. So before I start working, I'll start to remember the dream, and I'll write everything of the dream that I remembered. So that was one. You want to hear another one real quick because you're in it.
Oh yeah, I'm in your dream. Oh
This
my
dream you
God.
were in, Yuki. So this was not too long after the zombie dream. The zombie dream I had at the end of last year. This dream I had like early last week after the new
Oh,
year. It says
so
Yuki,
recently.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the second or the third. Yuki and I were at a Mexican restaurant. We ordered margaritas and burritos. After the check came and the bill, it was $700. Okay.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
How much did we eat?
that's what you said in the dream. That's exactly what you said in the dream. So it turns out that the restaurant had charged us for top shelf liquor in our margaritas. So you and I decided to argue with the waitress. And we said we didn't want top shelf liquor and we weren't offered the option. And if we had been
Right,
offered the option, we would have taken the well tequila. That was probably $3 a shot.
right.
So the waitress then, instead of agreeing with us, she made fun of me and she said, "You look like somebody who would listen to Nirvana." So after she said that, you got very angry and you left. You just left the table. I stayed there to argue with other staff members and the managers, and none of them
Hmm.
would budge. They were like, "No, we're not changing the $700. You need to pay the $700." So I was
Right.
sitting at the table, and all of a sudden, Paul Rudd, the actor Paul Rudd, and the actress Heather Graham sat down at the table with me. And I said, "You guys
Oh,
don't believe what the fuck just happened." And I started to explain the situation to them, and then I woke up.
so you don't know the conclusion then, huh?
No, I think we had to fucking pay for I think we probably no, I actually don't know what happened because they would not and they were making fun of me. They were like, "You look like somebody who would listen to Nirvana." You know?
I'm sorry, I left you alone. I walked out.
No, but you walked out because you were so pissed. You're like, "Fuck this shit!" You like left.
So I didn't pay then.
No, you left me to argue with them. Oh, all right, Yuki. After that, any other thoughts or recommendations or remembrances of zombies?
Yeah, I think 28 years later it's coming out this year.
That's right. I'll see it.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So other than that, so when zombie apocalypse happen, then make sure you get the gun, then go to a shopping mall or a Walmart or a Target, and then go up to the roof, then survive. That's the
true.
thing.
I personally though, I would not. I would use the gun as a last resort because the gun may attract more zombies. So I personally would have like a utility belt of all sorts of instruments. I would have a hammer, I would have a machete or a knife, I would have a screwdriver, just all kinds of weapons on my belt, and then I would have two weapons in my hand. So it could be like
Well, but then that's too close then. If with
no,
the
but they're
gun,
slow. Well, if they're fast zombies, you're fucked. But if they're slow zombies, you walk right up and spank, bump them on the head, you know? Unless there's 100 of them. Then
isn't
you
that
use the gun.
better like the arrow and then ball or a shotgun or a rifle?
That's a good idea, Yuki. Yeah, so or you could get a silencer.
Oh yeah.
You know, so but you know, if you're in a horde of zombies, start shooting. But if you're in like a place where there's only one or two and you could slowly sneak up and fucking stab them in the head with a screwdriver, that's the better way.
Yeah. Or how about grenade or dynamite? How come they never use it? Just blow up.
Because if you're
Too easy.
well, that's what that you do that if you're in a sticky situation where there's too many of them and you need to make a hole in order to escape out of. You throw a grenade and boom, and then you could run through that. But other than that, I mean, I don't know if it's slow zombies. I think you could take like Yuki. I think if you were in a zombie apocalypse alone and you had a weapon, you could probably take 20 slow zombies at a time.
Right, because if you keep fighting, you get tired sooner or later. You get killed. Just like what was that, Zulu? Thousands of them, and then just keep coming, and you can't survive.
No. Well, Yuki, I hope that never happens because I have dreamt about zombies many times, and it's not a pleasant situation.
No, huh? No.
And I'm living at my parents' house, and even though I think my dad would be good in a zombie apocalypse, he could handle himself. My brother, Liz Shack, could probably handle the stuff, but my mom, she would be screaming and yelling, she'd be like, ah! And then it would just like attract all the zombies. It would be a lot. Anyway, that was Zombies by Yuki and John.
John and Yuki.
We just want to thank everybody for supporting us, listening to us, and subscribing. If you can, please rate us 5 stars and leave us a small review on like Apple Music or Spotify, because that helps us grow and it brings the podcast to other people. But like I said, Yuki, we keep growing, so this is a good shit.
Yeah, it's a good shit. Yeah,
we're rising from the dead, Yuki.
That's right. Walking Dead, Rising Dead. It's like
the buffet of the dead. We got to make the buffet of the dead, Yuki, where me and you, fucking a zombie apocalypse breaks out while we're at the buffet. And then we barricade the buffet. And then we use all the fucking serving utensils and things as weapons. But we also are fine because we have enough food to survive.
Food. That's right.
Dude, Yuki and John's Buffet of the Dead. We got to make this movie.
Buffet of the Dead. That's it.
Buffet of the Dead coming soon to a buffet near you. All right, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hey. Make a zombie noise, Yuki.
Ooh.
Yuki and John's Patriot of a